The night was short, but we've managed to grab all the things we could. I'm afraid that tomorrow we'll have to find another area to empty. During the night, Erica got troubled. She's getting sick and we don't have any medicine for her. It's a good thing that she's not that sick. We might be able to let her heal by herself. We don't have the medicine for her, and well, if we do find medicine, we might want to keep it for ourselves to sell for better things. As if we needed that. Bruno remembers some of his friends from before. There were so many people. I can't bear to think about what happened in the past. It's a good thing we have enough food, though. Making fuel is extremely disappointing because it gets rid of some of the wood we could use for more useful, more pressing matters, but eating is a necessity we just cannot avoid. I wish we didn't go hungry every night. I wish we didn't have to think about eating. I think that since we've made so much food, we're gonna let Erika sleep during the night. Instead of guarding the door, Bruno he's gonna be strong enough to take care of it. Having the automatic rifle in our inventory is also a great thing. It allows us to make sure that nobody tries to steal our things. As always, the morning comes with promises of hope, of thinking that maybe somebody will knock on our door and say that the war is over. But that didn't happen. Not today, I think. Maybe tomorrow, but it's so easy to lose focus of what we could do, of what we could want. Easy to get rid of what made us human and just come back to the everyday routine. Surviving, grabbing what we can from the shadows and hoping against hope that everything will be alright. As always, armed bands are trying to steal everything that can be seen. I mean, we've used violence in the past. We're not better than them, but we're not that good. We're not that bad. At least we're not soldiers. Things look good, at least other than the armed robberies. Music soothes our soul, which is something that we can't really say about anything else. I'm afraid that tonight will be a bit more dangerous than it was before. Although the supermarket has still some materials we could use, same goes for every other area we've been to. We'll have to start thinking about going to some places that might be occupied. There are some people trying to lead normal lives, and we just can't morally accept that we're gonna go steal some of their things. If they can manage a normal life, then they deserve it. There are the semi-detached house that has some people in it that might be dangerous. There's the garage where we might find some stuff to carry, but then again, maybe things could be dangerous. And the St. Mary's Church is an area that may be allowing us to trade, but we don't have much to trade with. And again, we don't want to steal from them. So the garage seems the prudent option. And we need to have a guard. Bruno is going to guard tonight because he's done the what food we could use tomorrow. He's already done that. So he'll guard, and Roman, as always, will go scavenge. We'll still try to bring the shovel, the crowbar, and the gun. Not the gun, the knife. We can't afford to use the shovels or the crowbar for melee weapons. They're already pretty much broken and we can't repair them. So using the knife is the right idea here. Just in case we don't actually want to use it. If we could never see violence again, it would be too soon. There are some writings on the wall. Another religious nut thinking that this war made by soldiers, was God's idea of a good idea. I don't know if... I don't know how anybody can still believe in God after seeing all the pain, destruction, and chaos that can exist. I don't even remember if I've ever believed in anything. What I do believe in now is in, well, the three of us, the survival, and what food is on our plate. There's no time to think about others, to think about what could be, what is wrong, what is right. These are all long gone concepts. A man here says he needs some medicine. Well, we don't have any. And we could steal from him, but that would be a terrible idea. Morally, we just cannot allow for this. He's got some saw blades and we could use those. There are some areas that we didn't have access in the past that could warrant the use of that. Having an axe would also help us because we could destroy some of the stuff we don't need out of our house. This man needs medication and sadly we just don't have any. There is a locked grate here, and what I'm thinking is we'll try to find some really useful resources here, and we'll exchange those with the man for his saw blades. Of course, all the food we could find is ours. Can't afford to sell this. It's not because we have a few days of good food and, you know, filled stomachs in the future for us that we can afford to get complacent about whatever little we can scavenge. As much as I would like to make sure that we take everything, we also have to run. The night is still young, but we don't want dawn to catch up on us. Being seen out on the street is basically a death sentence. And suicide is not something I'm willing to try now. We're in this to survive, and survive we will. Of course, keeping the knife may seem like a waste of space. We may want to leave it and carry more stuff with us, but there's always the possibility, chance that a soldier hides somewhere that somehow will need to fight. And it's better to be ready when that happens. So we'll have to see if the man is willing to trade against some of this stuff. You have to be careful not to steal anything by accident. Damn it. He doesn't want to buy these components. And I don't want to sell the knife. We need that. We'll have to find something else that he wants. And we have to keep the food. Maybe the weapon parts. Or the electrical parts. At this point, well, it's that or nothing. Jesus, he wants so much. Well, two of those are going to be enough. 2 of those are enough to make sure we get something good. Maybe. Out of these areas that are blocked off. And still, you know, there's the night that's coming to an end. Looking through the man's stuff is a bit disappointing, but we have to be careful. There's a note. Sophia, we took out your jewelry. I'm so sorry. We have to pay the boatman who'll smuggle us out. We can't wait any longer. I'll make it up to you 100 times, Leon. Jewelry. And to think that some people actually value such commodities. Back in the day, I would understand. Maybe they had some sentimental value, but you have to understand that this is not a time to be thinking about jewelry or luxury or anything from the old life. And by looking at my watch, I realized that we just don't have any more time. We're gonna grab what we can, leave the rest, and come back tomorrow. And maybe, just maybe, we'll have what we need to help the man. We won't need the shovel and the crowbar tomorrow, and the knife either. We won't need much. This place is cleaned and, well, I won't say safe, but safe-ish. We've got everything we could carry. Things went alright. We don't have enough materials to be happy, but we certainly don't have a battle hole. And now I'm scared. How went the night? We've been raided. Someone tried to rob us, and they were very aggressive, but we managed to fend them off. We had weapons, the gun, and they didn't steal anything, and nobody's hurt. Although Bruno is now sick. I hope it's not something that goes around, because Erika's not sick anymore. So that's great. It means that yesterday having her sleep was a good thing. At some point you also have to realize that surviving is hard work and we need rest. We need to take it easy sometimes. There's so many there are so many moments where stress takes the better of us and leaves us in a difficult spot. We haven't made any more moonshine, and now might be the time for that. Maybe if the trader comes, we'll have one ready, and then we'll see. We certainly don't have enough to warrant buying some medicine to give to the old man at the garage, but we certainly have enough things to justify making more commodities that could be valued. And the trader is here sooner than normal. It's good. It's better to have him here now. And let's hope he has some good things for us. We don't need food, which is a good thing, and probably the first time in a long time. He's got some fuel for the fires. That's great. We've got bullets, more than we're ever gonna need. We have to think things through though. Make sure we don't oversell anything. And at this point, although I would love to buy everything he has, wood and materials are the most important things we can get. He's playing hard to get, but that's expected. Maybe getting rid of our broken guitar or broken assault rifle might be a good idea too. There's no need to keep those if we don't intend to rebuild them, and we can't rebuild them if we don't have the materials to create the workbench we're gonna need to rebuild them. It's important to try to get the most out of every deal. Try to get everything the trader can offer, because this is a much better way to work than going hunting during the night. We do have enough to distill alcohol, but the moonshine is actually pretty useful as it is. Is that an herbal garden? Sometimes I forget about all the different things. See, a workshop is useful, but it's not a garden. So we should build the garden, but we're gonna need more wood for that. And now that I'm looking through things, we could also allow us to improve our workshop. And doing that might be a priority, since we have all the food we could want for now. These choices are what makes things difficult. Wondering about what is the most important thing for us right now, but also keeping an eye on the future, and what could be and what should be, and what we're gonna need in a few days, a few weeks, a few months. There are still better things we could build than these. But as I said before, the axe is a good idea to get. It will allow us to get some more wood out of whatever few areas we don't need of our home. Selling the sugar is difficult, to say the very least, because all of the sugar we sell is some alcohol we won't have in the future. But then whatever we have now is something useful for now. And now we have to wonder, does the trader have the things we could use? At this point, it's almost as if we've bought everything he had. Books and fuel, filters, those are all good, but they're not vital. There's so much worry going around. We're gonna wait a bit. The alcohol is almost ready. And that's gonna give us quite a good exchange rate on some of the things we could want out of him. And we'll take the time we have to break down a few things. I'm gonna keep the chair, of course, but the old desks and old armors, these are just gonna be destroyed. And with that we get wood and fuel, and this does vindicate us for making this exchange. Although we could always use more things. And trading gets on my nerves at some point. It's like if we can't have good things, we cannot afford them. And that is just a ridiculous notion. As if human lives could be bartered with. Necessary items to everyday life, like food and medicine. It's like everything's a commodity. And nothing is worth its weight. As Erica destroys what is left of this house, you can see there are still some signs of life, some old children's drawing on the walls. You can see that although we're destroying part of this house's life, we're also uncovering it, discovering what could be and what was. The day is about over now, and we have to think about our next move. Going back to the garage is the safe bet, of course. There's also the possibility of going somewhere else. Try to maybe try to fight some of the soldiers we could find in our way. The noise of the city are just bullets and air horns at this point. Scary noise we don't want to see or hear. I remember a day when I wasn't afraid all the time, but that day is long gone. And the night won't help matters in the very least. Some new areas are open to us, and we can now think about this. There's a scroll far away, and it's been heard that there are rebels that moved in there. They might be willing to trade, but they might as well be willing to kill us for our stuff. There's a small apartment building, and it was held by some old people, but it's been filled to the brim with bad people, very, very bad people. There's the hotel from the Purgan Travel Agency, There were screams and thugs that could be seen or heard. But they might have all the things we could ever want. We're in too bad a shape to go there yet. So we'll go back to the garage. We don't have the medicine that the man wanted. We just can't afford to share anything, and at this point we can't even afford to have medicine with us. There's a small hole in my throat as I walk past the man and go through the back of this old garage to carry all I can. I'm thinking, I really, really wish I could help him and his father. It's a shame that I can't. It's a shame that we're in a situation that helping others is just impossible or wrong. How did we sink so low? So low that we can't help our neighbor, people in need, friends of ours, or even perfect strangers that never asked for any of this either. I guess it's everyone for themselves. Carry everything you can and leave the rest. It's a sad, sad concept. At least there are some good things around. Some good things that are going to be very useful in the future. And, well, nobody here is going to miss them. They obviously don't try to build their area as we do. Our house is our permanent holding ground, and these people, well, they're just going to move to the next place once this one is, well, done. Or once it breaks down under their feet. This man, well, I'm afraid to say that if his father dies because he doesn't have the medicine, then he's gonna leave and pack his stuff with him. There won't be anything else here to carry. And I would totally understand him for doing that. I take a look at this area and it does look like it's the man's back door. He lives there, but I saw a fridge, and I think that if I was silent enough, I could possibly open the door and steal everything. Maybe. It might be a bad idea, but it may be a possibility. The man does sell a lockpick. Well, it's a good thing that we're not morally bankrupt. There's still a shred of humanity in us. And we won't go that low. Grabbing the tobacco, the coffee, that's just for trading purposes. There's no way we're gonna use these, but people are gonna pay a lot for it. The fertilizer, that's gonna be useful in the future once we build that garden. Same goes for the electric parts. We now have enough wood that I'm not scared to only take components, but then again, as always, I'm thinking we could do better, and we haven't done that yet.